After 40, you don't even have to be trying and the pounds just come. And as I've been digging into what is going on, because I always like to be aware so that I'm not reacting, I'm responding, I am like, oh my God, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just that the game has changed and we need to play by a different set of rules. So I want to share with you what I am doing differently, what I plan to implement to preserve the sexy, to preserve that health. So, life after 40 is really different. It's nothing to be afraid of. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I am just trying to bring some things to your attention so that, again, you can respond intelligently. Because like they say, when you know better, you do better. So, this age after 40 is very peculiar for many reasons, especially for women. At this age, we also have parents that are aging, maybe even dying, that need a lot of care. So we become care providers for our parents. We're also going through a metabolic decline in our 40s. The third one, actually. They say in every decade there's a 5% decline in your metabolism. So in the 20s, it starts in your 20s after you stop growing. So there's a 5% decline in your 30s, another 5%, and then in your 40s, another 5%. What does that mean? It just means your metabolic fire is kind of quenching, which means if you continue eating the same way and exercising the same way, guess what? You're gonna put on weight. Like 2 to 3 pounds every year. Can you imagine? So you could just be living your life the exact same way, and then at the end of the decade you're like 30 pounds or heavier. You can just look around, you know what I'm talking about. Look at your classmates, look at the people that you know that are not actively trying to preempt this, and you will see. Now, the third thing is the M word, menopause. We are either already going through menopause or we're perimenopausal, which just means our body is getting ready to go through menopause. So our hormones are changing. There's a lot going on. Now, if you hear nothing that I tell you today, the number one thing that you should keep in your head, the thing that should be priority is stress management. Stress management is going to be very, 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 very important. We need to put this as our number one priority. Have those stress management techniques. What I do is I have a plan A and then I have a plan B. Plan A is what I do when life is going good. Like when life is good, going according to plan. There's no sudden things that just now throw a curveball at you. Then I implement plan A. For example, plan A means I am eating like I'm at home, I have my job, I have the same paycheck, nothing crazy is going on. I can buy the type of things that I like to eat, train for a marathon, something like that. Like everything is going fine. That's plan A. Plan B is when life throws something at you, and it always will. What will your baseline practice look like when those stressors come? You have to have that plan B, otherwise then you become reactive, and then next thing you know, you're going 100 miles in the opposite direction. So we need to have that plan B so that, when we're not going towards our goal, we can learn how to just stay in place and not sink, right? Just thread water. How does your plan B look like? Do you have one? My plan B means maybe I'm not training for a race, but maybe I can go out for a walk. It doesn't mean if I'm not going this way, I'm running the other way. No. Plan B is what can I do to just stay afloat? Okay. What can I do to stay afloat? I know some people want to, have some connotations with these words, but mindfulness or meditation or yoga is just a practice where you learn to check in with yourself. As women, we like to worry about everybody except forget about who we are as a person. So when I take my quiet time in the morning, it's just checking in with Yaje. Yaje, how are we doing today? How are you doing? I ask myself, how am I doing? Right? Just pamper myself a little bit. Just breathe, worry about me, look at my day ahead, reflect on what I can do better, check in with my body and see what it is willing to do. How are you feeling? And just soothe and pamper myself in that way. So I'm meditating for like 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, just taking that quiet time. There are several apps there that can help you with this breathing, mindfulness practice, whatever you decide to call it. But I suggest that you incorporate that quiet time into your day. I'm also doing like relaxing baths whenever I can. Right now, maybe 2 times a week, where I just make me a nice warm bath with some nice smelling oils and stuff like that, and sit there for 30 minutes and just relax myself and then go to sleep. So that also helps quite a bit with the stress management. Another thing I'm doing is drinking like bedtime teas. They have these bedtime teas, stress management teas. Just that warmth just kind of relaxes me. I make myself a cup an hour or so before bedtime and just sit somewhere and sip and savor, and then reflect on the day and then go to bed. So that's going to be very, very important. You are gonna have to prioritize your sleep. A lot of these stress management techniques are gonna help you sleep better, but sleeping, your sleep is going to be key, because if you cannot rest and recover, it's just gonna make the stress even worse, and then it becomes this bad vicious cycle. So sleep, prioritize your sleep. We have to eat differently. We have to control our portions. Portion control is no longer a luxury. It is imperative that you keep an eye on how much food you're eating. Quantity and frequency. Quantity and frequency. We must manage our portions. You cannot get away with the nibble, taste, eat this, eat that, the same way you used to do in your 20s. Your metabolism is down almost 15%. Okay, so your fire is not burning that hot anymore, and therefore watch what you eat. Don't set low standards for what you eat. Just like you pay attention to the lipstick that you would use, the handbag that you will carry, the shoe that you will wear, you don't settle when it comes to the quality of your food. Eat whatever you want, but make sure that it is top-notch quality. Jewels and not junk. We must learn to sip and savor and not just gulp things down absent-mindedly. Strength training is no longer an option. Okay, I speak for myself because I know my tendency is cardio, run. I'm still gonna run because that's what I enjoy. It's good for me, my mind, it's my escape, it's all of that. But I'm now very, very, very intentional about incorporating strength work into my routine. I'm not the type that enjoys lifting weights in the gym and all of that. I understand all the benefits of that, don't get me wrong. But I'd prefer using my body weight, which now I'm incorporating more yoga into my practice. Yoga is a lot of strength work, which is important too, like I'm saying, for preserving that muscle mass, and it's also flexibility, which you need as you age. So I am particularly incorporating yoga for those reasons, for the strength, the flexibility, and for just that calming effect. The Foxy 40s is a nice place to be because you're so much wiser and you don't really care what people think about you. You're becoming very confident and very secure in who you are as a human being. It's a nice place to be. I appreciate that I have lived for this long. But the rules of the game have changed, and so I must also adapt accordingly. So I thought I should share some of my thoughts with you. And if you are over the age of 40 and you have some tips of your own, I would like to know. Just share with me in the comments down below. Appreciate your time, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye bye.